Good morning, students. How are you all this morning? Good and healthy, isn't it? So, I'm your new science teacher, Shahin Miss. So, students, in our last video, we have started a new lesson, lesson number 3, Life Processes in Living Organisms, Part 2. And in that video, we have learned the asexual and sexual reproduction in plants. Do you remember? Good. So in this video today, we are going to learn sexual reproductions in animals and human beings. So let's begin. So in this video, we are going to learn about the male reproductive system, female reproductive system, fertilization, sex determination, and endocrine system. So let's start, students. Are you ready? First, male reproductive system. It includes testes. Testes are a pair of pinkish, small size, oval shaped primary male sex organ. Scrotum. Scrotum or scrotal sacs are male sex organs which are present in thin-walled called skin pouches. The cavity of the scrotal sacs acts as a thermoregulator and keeps the testicular temperature 2 to 5.5 degrees Celsius lower than the temperature of the body. Next is epididymis. Epididymis is an elongated and flattened structure located on prosterolateral side of each testis. It is about 6 meters long and is a highly coiled tube. It provides storage and nutrition and helps physiological maturation of sperm. So this is epididymis. Got it, student? Now let's see the next one. Vas deferens. Vas deferens is a narrow, muscular and tubular structure which is about 30 centimeters long. It passes through the prostate gland and joins the urethra. Next is penis. Penis is a cylindrical and erectile copulatory organ. It forms external genitalia of male and it helps in copulation. Let's see the next. Seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles are a pair of elongated, muscular and sacculated glands present between the bladder and rectum. These vesicles secrete a significant proportion of the fluid that ultimately becomes the semen. About 60% of the seminal fluid in humans originates from the seminal vesicles. The fluid contains proteins, enzymes, fructose, mucose, vitamin C, and prostaglandins. So this is about seminal vesicles. Moving ahead, the next one. Are you understanding? Okay. The next one is prostate gland. It is a large, spongy and lobulated gland which surrounds the proximal part of the urethra. Prostatic secretion constitutes about 30% of the semen, activates the sperms, and provides nutrition to the sperm. So, this is the male reproductive system. Now, let's study the next, that is female reproductive system. Ovary. They exist in a pair, that is, there are two ovaries which consist of a number of eggs at different stages of development. The ovaries is responsible for the production, storage and release of ovum and secretion of female sex hormones. Fallopian tube. There are two fallopian tubes, one on either side of the uterus. It serves as a canal to transport the eggs produced in the ovaries. The upper end of the fallopian tube is the main site of fertilization. Understood, children? Let's see the next one. Uterus. It is a pear-shaped organ that provides the site of implantation of an embryo. It also provides support and nutrition for the development of a fetus, and it is made up of strong muscles. The next is cervix. It serves as a link between the vagina and the uterus. It has strong and thick walls. The next is vagina. It receives the sperm during sexual intercourse. The muscles of the vagina wall can expand, contract, and enable the delivery of a baby during labor. This is the female reproductive system. Now let's study the structure of a sperm cell. Now, a sperm cell is very small. It has a head, a middle section, and a tail. The head is a flat and oval shaped and contains the nucleus of the cell. The middle section is made up of a substance that makes usable energy to propel the tail, and the long tail acts like a whip to move the sperm. So this is the structure of a sperm cell. Now fertilization. Large number of sperms enter the vagina, but only one or two active sperms take part in the process of fertilization. During fertilization, the head of the sperm enters into the ovum. So what happens then? It releases its haploid. It releases its haploid chromosomes in it. As you can see in this picture. Then finally, a zygote forms with 2N chromosomes set. So let's see the development of embryo. Formation of zygote takes place as a result of fertilization. In human, fertilization takes place in fallopian tube. A zygote divides a number of times and forms a hollow ball of cells. The zygote divides repeatedly to give rise to hundreds of cells. The embryo moves down the uterus and gets implanted in it. So this process is called the implantation. Thus, the embryo develops gradually into a fetus. After the development of embryo is complete, the mother gives birth to the young one. The period between the fertilization to birth of the baby is called gestation. Now moving to the next one, we will study menstrual cycle. Men and women in the world have differences and also have some similarities. The body function is a major difference. So let's study that difference in the women. Now women between the ages 12 and 50 years old undergo a monthly cycle in which their uterus prepares for pregnancy. It prepares from a fertilized egg to settle and grow into a baby. If pregnancy does not occur, the lining breaks down and is expelled from the uterus. This is known as menstruation. Now, the menstrual cycle usually lasts about 28 days. During this period, women undergo drastic hormonal imbalance as well as physical discomforts such as abdominal cramps, headaches, backaches, and general nausea. So children, the first stage of the cycle is menstruation, and because the egg is not being fertilized, this lasts between 3 to 7 days and is more commonly known as the period because the egg has not been fertilized. The uterus lining, called the endometrium, is not needed and hence it breaks down and is lost through vaginal canal with some blood. The next stage is known as ovulation and is when the woman is most fertile. After menstruation, the lining of the uterus thickens up again in preparation for the fertilized egg, and inside the ovary a follicle develops. At about 14 days into the cycle, an egg is released from the follicle in the ovaries and fertilization could take place. Now, if the egg is fertilized, the lining in the uterus is thick and is not shed, and thus menstruation does not occur and the woman becomes pregnant. If it turns managed to impaired, then the lining would break down and the menstruation will occur and the cycle is then repeated. Understood? So now children, the menstrual cycle is controlled by two main hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Now let's study what are these hormones. So children, estrogen is produced by the ovaries and causes the uterus lining, the endometrium to thicken again after menstruation so that it is ready to receive embryo. Progesterone is produced by the empty follicle in the ovary. See how it is produced off when the egg is being released and then drops off if the egg does not impaired in the uterus or if the egg is unfertilized. But if the egg is fertilized and impairs, then progesterone level stay high for first 6.5 months of pregnancy. The follicle continues to produce it and the placenta is formed. So, estrogen goes up the uterus lining and progesterone maintains it in the second half of menstrual cycle. Now there are other two hormones also involved. The follicle stimulating hormone or FSH and the luteinizing hormone or LH. Now both FSH and LH are secreted by pituitary gland in the brain. FSH causes the egg to mature in the ovary and also stimulates the ovary to release estrogen. The estrogen then stops FSH in produce and so that one egg matures in the cycle. LH causes the mature egg to be released from the ovary and stimulates the release of progesterone. So now you must have understood how the menstrual cycle works, how the main hormone estrogen and progesterone controls it, and how a woman's body is affected with these drastic changes. Yes, children? So you must have understood and the concept is being clear. Good. Now children, let's have a look over the summary of what we have learnt. The male reproductive system. The external organs are penis, scrotum, and the internal organs are testes, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, seminal vesicles, and prostate glands. Now, the next is female reproductive system. Ovaries or female gonads, which produces female gametes called ova, secretes female sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone, and the accessory ducts includes uterine tubes, uterus and vagina. Menstrual cycle consists of 4 steps and it is approximately 28 days before repeating. First is building up endometrium, follicular phase. Second, ovulation, that is releasing the egg. Third, preparing for pregnancy, the luteal phase, releasing hormones in case of fertilization. And then shedding the endometrium, that is menstruation, if fertilization does not occur. So children, I hope you all have understood today's topic. See you with the other topic in the next video. Till then, take care. Thank you children. Bye-bye.